Hi everybody, I'm Susie Faye, founder of Stone and Feather Flow, and today we're going to talk about why motivation doesn't matter as much as consistency. You ever notice how Nike's slogan is just do it instead of just be motivated? Well, that's because motivation is unreliable. Safety and consistency are what create change. Flow state doesn't come from pushing harder, it comes from reducing friction. If motivation worked, none of us would struggle. The most stable changes in my life did not come from motivation, they came from consistency. Motivation is not a system you want to rely on because it depends on energy, mood, sleep, hormones, and stress. And all of those things are variable. They change constantly. So that's why motivation is not a system to rely on for manifestation or a big change in your life or transformation. Consistency gives your brain predictability, and predictability is what calms your nervous system. We'll talk about why it's important to calm your nervous system for manifestation. We'll talk about that at a later date. Your brain doesn't need excitement to change. It needs safety. On high energy days, I might journal for 20 minutes, do a 1 hour workout, or organize some of the most unorganized areas in my home. On low energy days, I might journal 3 sentences, go for a 15-minute walk, and fall back on my baseline habits and systems, such as making my bed, drinking enough water, and just brushing my teeth. Consistency isn't doing the same amount. It is keeping the relationship with yourself, building that self-trust. Here's why it ties into manifesting the life you want. Manifestation isn't about intensity. It's about alignment repeatedly, gently over time. This means that small, consistent patterns are way more important than major life changes not done in a consistent pattern. So going to the gym for 2 hours a day, 2 days a week, 1 week, 3 days a week the next, 1 day a week the next, that is not going to get you to your goal of having, a physique that you want. You're better off going to the gym for 15 to 30 minutes, 4 days a week, 3 days a week, every week. That is better than 2 hours a day inconsistently. That's just an example. The truth is, if you're waiting to feel motivated, you'll stay stuck. If you build something small enough to repeat, your system begins to trust it. Once your system trusts it, that's when flow state becomes possible, and that's when you start opening the opportunity to manifest the life you want. I know. I keep talking about this flow state. So for the next video, I will explain what flow state actually is and what it isn't, how it helps manifest the life you are aligned with, and why it is important to be consistent to get to flow state. All of this information is not only helping you out, but it helps me out because I am trying to get to flow state. I'm trying to calm my nervous system. There is a lot going on in the world today, and just even opening up the news, opening up your phone, my emails, some of my emails are alarming by some of the titles that are used in the emails, and it just immediately puts your nervous system, my nervous system, in a state of awareness, high awareness, and stress. And what that does is it causes me to hold on to weight, especially like in my face, around my belly, because cortisol is coursing through your body way more than it needs to be, because I'm not in any imminent threat. It also brings my energy levels down. I don't think as clearly, and I get decision fatigue so fast. So this is all for educational purposes only. I am not a therapist. I am a nurse, but this is not part of any type of clinical nurse education or anything like that. This is solely my opinion from things I've read and just things I've experienced. So none of this to me is mystical. This isn't productivity culture either. So I've had to learn to really slow my life down. And luckily I've been able to do that in the past year. That has allowed my brain to feel a lot safer. It's allowed my nervous system to go from here where I'm burnt out and I'm not present with my kids ever. I'm constantly nagging or yelling at my boyfriend or partner, and I created a lot of stress in my household because that's what was happening to me internally. And the culture we promote in the world today, and at least in the American society, is hustle culture. And I used to do that. I used to be a part of that. And I used to tie my confidence to hustle culture. I used to tie my worth and value to hustle culture. And essentially what it has done for me is created this burnout and this lack of being aligned with who I really am. I will say both of my parents, all of my parents, my parents are divorced, so I have like 2 sets of parents. But all 4 of my parents work really hard. And I don't know how they've done it because I am not as strong as them. And so I am just grateful that they have had the capacity to, provide for me all these years. And it has allowed me to become more of who I am. So their hard work has allowed me to do that. And I really appreciate that too. If you've stuck around this long, thank you so much. I'm super grateful for you. And if you have any comments, any feedback, I love to hear it. I'm always open to any kind of critiquing, but it's got to be constructive. If you've got something to say, provide me with a solution, right? That was the boss in me that came out. But anyway, so I'm very open to hearing feedback and also hearing anything that helps. It cut me off. Anything that helps you out. So what are some things that help you manifest if you're on this journey? What are some things to help you get to flow state? What are some things to calm your nervous system? What are some systems you've built? What are some easy things you've done consistently over time that you created a habit out of and then a system out of? I'd love to hear it. We're all on this journey, and why not share the information we have to help others? That is the best thing we can do in this life. We can't take anything with us. So why not leave everything out there for, somebody else to utilize and benefit from? It may help them. All right. Love y'all.